Hi, my name is Amy Hughes and I'd like to welcome you to the Physical Science A and B class. I'm going to talk about both classes at the same time here because they're both set up exactly the same, and I'm just going to be going over the structure of the class. To start with, let's start up here at the welcome video, which you're watching now. So you found this, and then right after that we've got your welcome video assignment, which is going to be an assignment where you're just going to write me a short paragraph about what you learned here in the video and a little bit about yourself, whether there's anything you want me to know about your learning style or things you're looking forward to in the class. You're going to go ahead and click down here where it says open, and then you can tell me right here, you just write here in the comments section about what your paragraph. You can also use a Word document, or you can use OpenOffice. That's actually a free download if you want to if you don't have a Word document on your computer and you need something like that. You can get OpenOffice, and then you would write your document on those, save it onto your computer, and then you'd attach it here. So you'd click attach, and you'd look for where you put it on your computer, and you click on there and it'll attach it, and that's how a Dropbox works. And then you'll just click submit. One other option for this class is, if you have any more written assignments, is you can also use Google Docs, and with Google Docs you'll want to share the document with me through my email, and so you'll need to, that's a very important step if you're going to use that one. This is my office hours and my email, so if you need it for the Google Docs, it's right here, and my phone number. These are my office hours that I work, and my support session times. They may be different, sometimes they change, so this will always be updated with my current support session times. So if you're unable to make it to one of these support sessions and you need my help, just go ahead and shoot me an email, and we can set up a time where we can meet individually at Gateways or Thurston High School. The other thing is before you come in, you're welcome to drop in if you need my support, but it would be good if you could email me maybe the day before, just to let me know what unit and lesson you're working on, so I can make sure that I'm prepared to help you. And there's a little bit here on note taking, and you don't need to take notes in the class, though I highly recommend it. There's a couple of videos here which aren't popping up quite yet, but they will in a second. And here they go. One on Cornell notes, one on visual note taking, which is great for science if you draw pictures of some of the phenomenon that you're learning about, and then just a way to create an ideal study atmosphere at your home. So if you do start to not do very well in the class, I will require you to take notes, but at this point it's just an optional thing, and like I said, I think it's great to take notes for all your classes so that you're ready for the test at the end of each unit. So each unit, and this is the same for Physical Science B, is going to have just an introduction, and it's going to have your lessons. Each lesson will have an assessment at the end that you'll have to pass with a 70% or higher, and you can take it as many times as you want. It does not count for your grade, so you just need to be able to understand that information and enough to get a 70% on it and move on. The post-test, however, does count for your grade, and so you only get 2 chances each time they reset the question, so it's not like you get the same exact question as the second chance you get. But something that's very important is that if you do not get a 70% the second time, you have to email me. That's very important that you email me. I can't tell that you're on your second test and that you haven't passed it, so you could stay stuck there for a very long time if you never told me in your email, because you can't move on. So that's very important to email me, let me know about that, and we can figure out something. If it's a little bit less than a 70, I might just say, hey, do you want to just keep the 68%, and then we could just keep that. If it's something that's pretty low and it seems like you really don't understand the concepts, there's other ways that we can have you retake the test, but it's going to require that you are explaining more about your answers and why, because you can see what the right answer is when you look at the test, the results of the test. But so it'd be easy for you to tell me what the right answer is, but what I want you to do is to explain why it's the right answer. And I only give a half a point back for those, so that'll bring your grade up though. And so that's one way that we'll maybe work on it, but I'll explain all those directions if the time comes. So all of these units are really set up the same way, although sometimes I put in between some of the lessons, if there's a particularly maybe more difficult concept coming up in a lesson, I might actually put a video in there in between. And this video is about 3 minutes. And again, these are just for your resource for you. But I do think that it's a good idea, because that's why I put them in here, for you to take a look at these. And they're only a few minutes, and some of the animations and some of the explanations that have been put up on YouTube and other video, on the internet, are excellent, and they really show and clearly explain these concepts that are a little bit hard to grasp sometimes. So take a look at those. And here's another one. Now this one I put a few videos in. The gas law is kind of a little bit more complicated to understand and work through. Now, one thing to understand is I've tried to take out the math, the heavy-duty math part of physical science in the test. I'm able to do that in the test. I'm able to go into the test and take out all the questions that have some heavy-duty math in it, because sometimes it's a little bit, for a 9th grade class or for a lower science class, it's a little bit too much math, I found. And I didn't create this. This is a grad point class, so I do have some power over that, but within the lessons I'm not able to go in there and extract the heavy-duty math. So during the lessons, they're going to have you practice some of this math, and you'll have to pass it in the lesson assessment. But if it really bogs you down and you're having a hard time with it, don't worry too much about it, and try to see if the post-test ends up being something that you can work through. There's going to be some math. So I know maybe it's hard for you to know what math there will be and what math there won't, but just go ahead and work through it the best you can through the lessons, through the heavy-duty math, and then by the time you get to the post-test, you should do fine. I want you to understand the concepts of physical science, not necessarily all the details of the math. Now, there is going to be a midterm project, and I'm going to go over to Physical Science B, just so Physical Science B folks can see that it's the same in both classes. We have a midterm in this class, and what's great about this is if you click on here for directions, it takes you to a Google Doc that I've created, and I've also created a video tutorial similar to what you're watching right now, and that will also be helpful. It'll kind of take you through all the elements of the project. So the video tutorial will be embedded here in the project overview and all the directions. So that makes it so not only you could read the directions, and if that's all you need and it's very clear to you, then go ahead and do that. But if you are still kind of confused, then you can watch the video tutorial where I go through and do exactly what I'm doing here, go through all the parts of the midterm. And then we have a review test. So that's really it in a nutshell. And so if you have any questions, let me know. It's a very awesome class. Physical science is basically how the world works on a physical level, and how the motions and the forces and the things that we take for granted every day, how scientists have been looking at those and actually creating a systemic way of understanding those forces and the motions that we see, that we just take for granted every day. And that's what physical science is really all about.